change my plans. All my dreams will melt like sand. The moment that you say goodbye, gonna rush right to the sky.
It's me, y'all. It's me. I'm here. I'm just getting my link together so that I can tweet it on out so that you all know that I'll be coming to you live in about 2 minutes or so. And it's going to be a nice, fun Monday. I want to see how everybody's recovering from Easter and what's going on in your world, what's going on in your life. I want you to continue to slide up in the DMs and let me know because I will share what you allow me to share, and everything else I'll keep between us. How about that? But I would like to know if you spent Easter with your family, if you did anything special. Um, so just check us on out here. So let me get this going, and I'll be up with you in about 2 minutes, sharing with you the rundown for the day, and we'll talk about what's going on. That's it. I had a good time with friends, and I'll share a little bit of that with you there. But it's a beautiful Monday, so I have to believe that a lot of you had a chance just to do things that you enjoyed. So I'll give you a little bit more of Shaka Khan with the group Rufus at the time. It's a song called Clouds, one of my favorites. So we're going to do that and keep it going, and then you and I will connect in about 2 minutes. I'll go live at 12:10 or so. I think that's what I'm going to tweet out here. Get this tweet going, get this link going, and we'll do the thing. We'll do the thing. We'll do the thing together. All right. So, and I'm going to introduce you to one of my colleagues who's a great guy. He does little things on the side, and we'll talk about it. All right. See you in a bit. Y'all. Here we are. We're live. We're doing it here from the Fox 5 DC Newsroom. That, of course, is a little bit of Shaka Khan. It's one of my favorite songs called Clouds. Back when Shaka Khan was still performing with Rufus. Rufus and Shaka Khan. Rufus was the group. Shaka Khan was the vocalist at that time. And, of course, you know, she went on to have an extremely successful solo career. So Shaka Khan is truly one of the best talents, I think, to have ever fallen into the R&B music scene, jazz. I've seen her do Jazz Fest a couple of times in New Orleans Jazz Fest, and I've never been to the one in Rhode Island, which is extremely popular too. I haven't been to that one, but I have been to New Orleans Jazz Fest, and it is amazing. Is you literally get a list of everybody who will be performing. Sometimes there's somebody you want to see at noon. Then there's somebody you want to see at 8 p.m. So it can be a long day. And New Orleans and that heat, woo, it can get you. So you got to be prepared. And yes, sunscreen on the bald head, wear some type of covering, and definitely get a hat and bring water. Bring water. Everybody talks about New Orleans for the drinking and the alcohol, but I'm going to tell you something. You want plenty of water because even the drinking can get old. You're like, oh my God, I can't even stand up anymore. So definitely take your water. If you have not done Jazz Fest, it is definitely something to do in New Orleans. In fact, I think it happens in a couple of weeks. I won't be able to go this year because I don't have the time off, but I would have loved to. So maybe next year we will ask my manager to let me have that time. All right, so let's go ahead and get going here. I'm going to go ahead and, again, Shaka Khan will close out with that in case you want to hear that again. But I'm going to go ahead and start the timer so that we can get this going and I don't overstay my time with you. So there we are. We're going. I'm going to get started with the rundown, talk about what's popping, Easter weekend, who's in the studio, hot seat. Try to get one of my colleagues to come over and join us. Talk about the weather if I can get Tucker or if he's around, if not, because I know you all want to know about the weather. So I try to keep it going with that. But let's go ahead and throw up that rundown so you can see where we're going. And I want you to remember to like and subscribe below. So all of that is something I will continue to remind you of. But let's do this. Happy Monday. I wasn't here online with you on Thursday and Friday. Thursday, as you know, the Mueller report came down. So that kind of threw everything into a loop. And then Friday, we had a service that we had to attend for the for Easter. And it was something I had not done before, and I'm gonna find that quickly because it was new to me. But I'm not Catholic. I was raised Christian, but I wasn't familiar with the service. And let me get this right. Make sure I've got this right because I want to share this with you all. It was called, and it was new to me, but probably familiar to many of you. It was called the Stations of the Cross. So it literally, it pays deep respect to the last days of Christ and his life, and the leading up to both his death and crucifixion, right? Leading up to his crucifixion. So for Christians, for pilgrims, that is an extremely powerful message. So I had a chance to watch that on Saturday, and the young man who played the role, Joey, I can't remember Joey's last name now, but we have that story on our website at fox5dc.com, and he did a great job, and he talked about how he had played different parts in the presentation before, but this is the first year that he got to play the role of Christ. And it was clear to me that this young man was solid in his faith, and there's something refreshing about seeing young people who have so solidly found and identified themselves in their faith and what it meant for him to be a Christian. So I thank him and bless him for sharing his journey to finding his spiritual fullness with me. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get started with my rundown. Monday, April 22nd. I want to go ahead and get that going with you here, and we're going to plow on through this together. So the hot thing today, bam! Monday, April 22nd, 2019. Let's talk about this rundown and what we got going on. So I'm going to stick myself in here with you. So what's popping? Trending topics across the globe. Well, I want to talk about Easter weekend, and if I get somebody here in the hot seat, we'll talk about what they did over Easter. Also want to talk about who's in the studio on the hot seat. I'm going to see if I can get Kenny over here. Kenny is one of our assignment managers, and we've talked about the different roles that people do in a newsroom. What he does is absolutely pivotal. It's essential to the function and operation of this newsroom because he is directly responsible for knowing where crews are located, how to get in touch with camera guys, producers, writers, reporters in the field, so that if we need to break someone to a story, to something, he has an idea of where things are so that people can get going with that. So let's go ahead and throw up this rundown. That's where it is, and I'm going to get him over here, and then we're going to talk on the other side. So what we try to do is, like I said, I try to just make sure you get an idea of everything that we're doing so that you understand how the newsroom operates, because none of us do it alone. It is definitely a team, and it's one of those things where everybody's kind of busy doing things. So as people become available, I try to snatch them and bring them over, and that brings us to my guest today. Kenny, how you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, thanks first of all for joining me because this is often a side of Kenny that you don't see because Kenny's used to being behind the scenes, but this time I'm putting you out front and forward because what I try to tell people, if they visit our website at fox5dc.com or follow us on social media, none of us do it alone.
Right.
All of this is a team, it's an operation, it really is a machine.
Yep.
I've explained your role in part because what I try to tell people is that one of your responsibilities amongst many is to have an idea of where we all are. If breaking news happens, you need to know who you can send where because you're constantly monitoring several devices, social media, scanners, taking calls from the public. People often reach out to say, hey, I'm seeing something here and I think somebody needs to get up here. You have to sometimes make a judgment in the moment on whether or not you want to deploy resources to that.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I'm a senior assignment editor. I work on the assignment desk. It's a pretty intense place. And we are just a part of the newsroom, man.
Right.
You know, but we are listening to scanners. We're taking emails. We're taking phone calls, and a lot of you viewers, we appreciate the phone calls and the tips to the assignment desk. And yes, there is a lot that we have to do. We are monitoring our crews, and we know I have to know where everybody is and be ready to divert for breaking news, or if I get a gut feeling about a story, you know, I have to like kind of go with my gut and say, hey, and I'll alert the EP or management and say, hey, I think we need to move some people here, you know. So, you know, been doing it a long time.
And
so
these are not decisions that are made lightly because sometimes you're killing one story to do another.
Ooh, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And we're just looking for, you know, stories that are going to affect people. So if you got a story, it may be affecting a few people, and then you're like, oh, but this story, you know, maybe we might want to check this out. This would, you know, maybe connect with even more people.
Right.
You know,
and what do you prefer? Do you prefer a phone call or do you prefer email? How should people get in touch with you guys if they want to pitch a story?
I would suggest that you call us right away, 202-895-3000. Call us, and then we can kind of figure out if maybe we need to follow up with an email, or you could direct us to a post somewhere that that information may be. So, but you can call us. We get calls all day. Call us.
Kenny, I have to tell you how much I appreciate you sitting down with me because I know this is not usually a role that you do. So I appreciate you stepping out and doing. I talk to Kenny all the time, but Kenny is not usually front and center in front of the camera, so it can be jaunting sometimes to be in this particular role. But one of the reasons I ask people to come over is because one, I want people to know that we really are a team, that we all we really try to put on the best product, and I celebrate the diversity of this newsroom. Kenny, it's not lost on our viewers that I think that as men of color, we're interested in also showing stories that reflect our community.
Wow, that's big there. And sometimes it's a fight, to be honest. You know, to make sure our stories, African American stories, are told. Make sure people understand the significance of certain stories. You know, so that's definitely a challenge. And you touched on something else, just the team, and how many people are involved, man. Like if I can just take a moment, we do this stuff every day, and I've been doing this about 20 years or so. Every now and then I'll look up and at the product and say, oh my, like, yo, what a great story Nick did, and that story came from one person who thought they heard something. We followed up on it. We got the tip, and we made some calls. Nick goes out on it. Photographer does a great job. It makes it to air, and it turns out to be a great piece. Like none of this is done by one person. Obviously, that goes without saying. There's just so many people involved.
I never get a chance to shout out, honestly, my photographers enough too. I think people, again, they see us, they see me, they see Allison, they see Tucker, and they're like, oh, it's cool and it's simple. I think people at home just don't know how much we rely on our producers, our assignment managers, our photogs, the people who really they hold us up. So that what we do is easier because everything has been lined up by you. The photographer knows what they're doing, and they're making sure, Nick, you may need to lean this way because you have too much bread this weekend. So let's lean you this way because you look a little slimmer. And I'm like, oh, I love him. That it really is a team.
Really is.
Kenny, this was Easter weekend. I've asked people to kind of share what they did Easter weekend. You and the family, what did you guys do?
Oh, interesting. I had a great weekend. I have a 13-year-old. I have a wife and a 13-year-old, and I also have twin boys that are almost 2 years old. We loaded up the minivan. No laughing out there about my minivan, but if you have 3 kids, you would want a minivan. Anyway, we loaded it up and we went to see my wife's parents in North Carolina. They live in Chapel Hill. It was great to see them. We spent a little time there.
Weather was great.
Weather was pretty good. We were down Friday. It's pretty good. And then Saturday, me and my son, we left everybody at the house and went to a Durham Bulls baseball game.
Yep.
That was really fun. And but the most important part is we drove back Sunday, and then I started up my grill for the first time in 3 years.
Nice.
And my family came over, my mom and my sister and her family, and I cooked a little bit on the grill with twins and everything that we had with that. It's been hard to get to the grill.
Did the boys enjoy the Durham Bulls?
Oh yeah. So just my 13-year-old
okay.
went, and he's a huge baseball fan.
Because that pit, that field's been around for a while. It has a lot of history.
Yeah, a lot of history, and they honored. It was African American Heritage Night.
Nice.
And they honored a lot of the Negro League players.
Yep.
And a lot of them were there, and they had a really nice tribute, and so a real nice event. Durham Bulls.
What was lost in that is that he fired up the grill, and Nick Smith didn't get an invitation. Y'all catch that? Y'all catch that?
It's been 3 years. I didn't want to invite you over
until you got it right.
Yeah.
He don't know that I'm okay with mistakes too. I'm okay just trying it out. So let's be very clear.
Yeah.
Kenny, last thing I got for you then, because I know you got other things to do. I asked people how they got started and what is the takeaway. People who are interested in the business, how did you get started and what is the takeaway?
Wow. I got started, was cleaning up hair salons and office buildings out of college. Really didn't have anything going. I knew I wanted to be in television, but I just didn't have a break. And I got a call from a friend. She said, fax your resume. Fax your resume. That was a long time ago. Sent it in, and Fox 5 had a trainee program. They were paying minimum wage for a little training program. I think it was $5 or so. I came in, and I worked my butt off, and I broke a few stories. Didn't really know what I was doing at the time, but I just followed my gut and chased down a couple of stories. And next thing you know, a couple people on vacation, and they're like, "Hey, Kenny, can you come back?" And "Hey, Kenny, can you come back?" And then I won't get into it, but I broke a pretty big story for us 20-some years ago. And I got called in the office Monday morning, and they were like, "Would you like a job?" And I said yes.
I love that.
And so it's been great, man. If you're looking to get in this business, I like to say for my job, it's 8 hours of work. If I spend any time not doing what I'm supposed to do, it could hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it's 8 hours of making calls, shooting off emails, hey, just checking in with people, anything going on in your site. It's 8 hours of
building
that.
those relationships.
Building relationships. And so what happens after 20-some years of doing that, I'll get a call. Hey, Kenny, did you guys hear about this? And so it is about building relationships. A lot of people that want to get in the business, a lot of interns to come in, they all want to be on TV. Nobody goes to sit with the director. Go sit with the director, man. What? He's directing the show. Like, that's so cool to me. Sit with the producers. And too many times people want to be on camera, and Nick, you know this, but I asked you to make a phone call. You've never made a phone call. You don't even know how to make a call. Reporters make calls.
They dig stories.
They dig.
Develop sources.
So
absolutely.
you gotta come in here, and you gotta be willing to make calls. Go above and beyond, and you gotta have a gut feeling towards what people want to see.
And Kenny, I've said this too, and I believe that you'll echo this. Speak to everyone.
Yeah.
I see some people at various places. They move through spaces and they don't acknowledge even the people who clean.
Yeah.
It is a team.
Yeah.
No one does it alone. I think that developing those relationships are just important.
Yeah.
And about your relationship, I have to say this too to everybody. I was at the National Harbor a couple weeks ago, and the PIO, and I can't think of his name now, for Fairfax County PD, because they were being honored. They were being recognized for the responding to that crash on Woodrow Wilson Bridge back on June 20th, 2018. Yep. And so he told me, he's like, yeah, Kenny moved this one forward. Good. Tell him I said the next time I pitch something to him to let me know, because you also have to decide what stories are. Everything doesn't always rise, or depends on crews and all of that. So I told him that I would definitely let you know. But it speaks to the relationships that he knew that you were the one who made this story happen on this particular day, and they were really happy that we came out and covered.
Well,
so
cool.
when you are in a position where you honestly get to kind of decide how the story content or the stories we cover go, people also reach out to you and want to have that recognition. So work hard. You're telling people if they know they want to do it, they've got to be prepared to just put in the hours and do the work.
Yeah, you got to just kind of come in and make calls, pick up the phone, make a mistake. I always tell interns, make a mistake, like accidentally hang up on somebody or something. But you can't get it if you come in and you're just kind of scared to make a move.
Being passive in TV news does not work.
Oh man, they'll run you out of here.
Absolutely,
they'll run you out. So and besides that, man, I don't know where the time is went working this job, but I rarely look at the clock. If you're looking for a job where you don't look at the clock and like, when do I get out of here? I'm telling you, every day for 20-something years, I look up and say, oh my, it's time to go home.
Like,
from the time I got here.
I got a family. I got to get.
I mean, but it just happens so fast. I get here and I start working, and then I look up, oh, time to go. It's amazing to me. It's not a job that drags along. It's a very, very fast-paced job. So
Kenny, sir, thank you so much, because I know you got 10,000 things to do. I appreciate you spending time with me. I love that. See, so you all continue to slide up in the DMs. Once again, people can reach you how?
Yes, give me a call, 202-895-3000. That's the assignment desk. If you want to email us, wttg.desk, D-E-S-K, at foxtv.com.
Love it. Thank you, brother.
You got it, man. Thanks again.
See you soon.
All right.
So this is one of those things where we talk about how we really do this as a team. So when I have an opportunity to introduce you all to someone who is part of that team and the roles that they do, I want to seize on that so that you can have an idea of how it all comes together. It's it's fluid. It moves. It's an operation. So there are a couple of things I wanted to show you. Remember I talked to you about how I wanted to do a little bit of flashback, and Friday we had a really good show. Fox 5, like it or not, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. You can always find me at Nick Smith News on Twitter, at Nick Smith News on Instagram, and you can always find the show at fox5dc.com. Got it? Monday through Friday, we're live, we're unscripted, we're raw. Monday through Friday at 2:30, we replay the episode from the night before. So on Mondays, it's going to be like a best of, a compilation. But Monday through Friday at 2:30, we replay episodes from the day before. So what I'm going to play for you now is a clip from Friday's show where we all just had a really good time laughing and tripping on Bob Dylan. Yeah, Bob Dylan. Have you heard about this? Bob Dylan, the singer, artist, musician, is not a fan of cell phones and people taking pictures during his concert. So he scolded the fan and really ripped them a new one. Like, stop the show. What do you want to do? I can pose for pictures, or I can do the show. Which one do you want? So anyway, we had a good laugh about that. We talked about that on the show, and I'm going to bring that up because I like for you to weigh in. Slide up in the DMs. Let me know what you think, and we can talk about it on the other side. But this is from Friday's Fox 5's Like It or Not. This was Britt McHenry, Guy Lambert, and Stephanie Hamill. So Fox 5's Like It or Not. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk about it on the other side. Take a look.
All right, well, in other entertainment news, music legend Bob Dylan got a little heated with fans recently at one of his concerts. According to Billboard, while in the middle of a show in Austria, Dylan paused when a viewer broke out his phone, took a picture. Apparently, Dylan has a no pictures rule. In video footage captured by Stereo Gum on Instagram, Dylan says, "Take pictures or don't take pictures. We can either play or we can pose, okay?" He and his band then paused for a second and waited. Rolling Stone says Dylan has had a strict no photos policy at his concerts for years. Britt, like it or not?
I like that he took some ownership in it. They posed for a little bit, right? So I think we all need to be reminded to live in the moment a little bit more. And I'm always on my phone. Nick, you're always on your phone.
Right.
But the times like when I really have detached for a couple of days, I'm so much happier. And I'm like, why do we not do this more? So I don't know.
It's funny you say that. I don't like it at all. Shame on you, Bob.
Really?
Absolutely. I am living in the moment by taking this picture and gramming every second.
This
that
is
I
the king of Instagram
Right.
here.
I was
the way
I'm
getting
Nick
videos.
I genuinely believe if it ain't on the gram, it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's
there
true.
You go.
I mean,
so the deal is, and I paid for this ticket, Bob Dylan. I'm entering, usually
Really?
probably using a digital code to enter. Now I can't use it because you, Bob Dylan, look, changes are coming, you know. So the deal is he needs to get with the time. Just that simple.
the video was really uncomfortable to watch. He was like really condescending and rude with these people that are his fans and want to capture that moment. He needs to get with the times. I went to Michael Bublé concert in DC, and he was out there snapping selfies with the crowd. He was excited that they were sharing his music to get the message out there. Dylan definitely had his finest pair of prickly pants on that night. And I think he's going to pay the consequences for it because people were trashing him on social media.
All right. Well, coming up, the woman who some are calling a bridezilla for rejecting her little niece. Yeah, she wanted to wear something to her big day. The bride said, not going to happen. Fox 5's Like It or Not. We'll be right back.
See what I'm talking about? So that's, you know, we're kind of weighing in on whether or not we felt like Bob Dylan was right with that, you know. But I don't have to debate this alone. We were talking about that. Join me now. Tim runs his damn mouth.
Are you watching clips of yourself?
I'm watching clips.
We're doing. Show that watches clips of yourself.
We replay some of the ones that got the most tweets. So that particular segment, people were
Not only
sounding
do
off
you
about.
you're watching clips of yourself that were the most popular clips. You're saying that you're very popular online. Do you even need a guest on your show?
I need a guest.
No.
I need a guest who can carry the show, and you are one of those. Tim, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tim Young. I'm new here. I'm on Fridays now on Fox 5 programming. It's weird to say that. It's weird not to wait at the. I used to actually. I think they played a game with me. See how long that I could wait at the security booth up front. So I would be out there for like 20 minutes on Fridays, and I would do Jim Loke's show, the Final Five on Friday nights. I'm also going to be joining Like It or Not now regularly on Fridays, which is awesome.
And we're happy to have him.
And I think I'm going to be doing some like fun segments too. So there's
Nice.
going to be like me wandering around town with a camera. God knows what that looks
Tim,
like.
what is your background?
I'm very white.
And Tim does stand up. Tim, I want people to know that I'm not picking on you here. You are an accomplished performer.
I am.
You have been working the Chitlin circuit because you have done stand up. You have done
So I've
the
done it all.
smaller venues.
Yeah.
You've been writing. You have hustled. This did not
Nonstop.
just come.
No.
It's one of those things where I think people think that sometimes, oh,
I might have cried when I got this contract because it's like 18 years of like a build to getting this.
brother, we all do. I
Right,
get it.
it's
We
like
sit
the
there like, oh
whole-
my God, they're trusting me to do. Yes.
So I mean, like, so I, good lord, I have a law degree. Almost got a doctorate in public policy at one point. I was one course and a dissertation away from a doctorate in public policy. Worked in politics for a while. Worked in marketing for
Which
a while.
you still enjoy.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Worked in marketing for a while. I've consulted everything from I had a little firm in Austin. I consulted the Austin Chamber of Commerce. I did a bunch of like writing and everything there. Wrote and did a bunch of guest segments for like Huffington Post back in the day. Ended up coming back. I was director of marketing for CPAC in 2015. Got picked up by before I got picked up by the Daily Caller, I did a Kickstarter to get my little web show started called
Nice.
No Things Considered, which maybe one day will be a Fox product. That got picked up by the Daily Caller. I got poached by the Washington Examiner. I went back on my own because I figured sometimes you got to take a step back and do your own thing. I got a
Absolutely.
book deal. I signed with SiriusXM, and then here, all in 6 months after leaving the Washington Examiner. So like, step back and focus on myself and replanned the plan.
Tim, you're funny. You are. I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think you probably identify more conservative.
I do.
You do. But I want to say to people, don't run and hide yet because you're actually funny and sane.
I've been told
There are different levels to conservatism.
I've been told actually by a lot of progressives that I'm their favorite conservative, and that I'm the guy who
Britt
should reach.
McHenry is my favorite, or Stephanie Hamill, just to be clear. Those are my favorite conservatives.
We'll work on that.
But go ahead.
But they're not on your show.
They're not
are
on. There you go. Boom, boom. There you go.
And it's one of those things, like, I want to be able to reach across the aisle. I've gotten some very interesting and very, very high-level compliments from people, including like Tim Kaine, Senator Tim Kaine, and
Sure.
I did a funny video a couple years ago. I'm very vocal about what my political positions are, but I'm accepting to other things, and I'm always willing to say that I'm wrong.
And you defend. You don't just say things. You're like, this is why I feel this way. I need you to think this through, people, before you just jump on a bandwagon of whoever the person on the left may be, who's a fan favorite right now of everyone. You just need you to question what they're saying and if it makes any sense.
So many people in TV news, and not just TV news, but just across the board, will say, and I'm not saying journalists, although certain networks do just do this, not this one, but they will just read talking points. You want to turn your phone off during the interview?
This is letting me know how much time I have. I have 5 minutes. So there you go. So see.
But so many people will just read talking points and just go with those talking points and not do their own research. And I wrote a book in my book. It's called I Hate Democrats, I Hate Republicans. It's been part of the set upstairs for a long time. It talks about personal responsibility and how you shouldn't take things for face value and how you should yourself be responsible. Just like, you're a smart guy, I'm a smart guy, but people at home watching shouldn't just take what we say.
Right.
Do your own research. Be smart about it. And feel free to argue back and forth with me. I'm always open for it. But that's the whole concept. Personal responsibility, looking for your own information and learning, because there's not a single unbiased person in media.
At all.
At all.
At all.
And just in the world.
Right.
Everybody had to vote for somebody.
Absolutely.
They didn't show up and vote for themselves, although I feel like a few people did.
We are just paid to deliver the information, vet the information, but we're not supposed to necessarily infer our opinions into things, but we don't walk into this in a vacuum. We all come in with our own personal biases and beliefs and everything.
And it's a lie to say that you're not biased.
Absolutely.
And so that's why people should be at home, be smart. And I know that the people who watch this network are smart. Maybe not people who watch you, but people who watch this network in general are very smart. And they do their own research, and they know to look at that other stuff. And it just bothers me when people come in with no information behind what they say.
I completely agree.
And so
let me ask you this, and then because I know you're doing 10,000 things. First of all, congratulations on coming on board full time. So excited to have you on Fox Fox, Like It or Not, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. And you can catch Tim on Fridays.
Mainly Friday.
Mainly Friday.
And the best of. Will they have time to clip me for best of on Fridays?
They will
for
indeed.
The Friday
so
night show, because
and
Friday
it'll
night
be on Mondays. Because remember now, our newscast, for those at home, newscast will go from 10 straight through to 11 when we do 11 o'clock newscast, and then Final 5 at 11:30. Best of now airs on Mondays at 2:30.
Awesome.
So it's just we're increasing our news programming.
And it's not to kiss up, because I know the bosses are watching. But it's people like you. It's the personalities like Jim Lokay. You got Tom over here, Tom Fitzgerald, who's great. People who are passionate about the news, people who are honest personalities, and I said this online in a private Facebook post, but I'll say it to you guys since we're here. If you get the vibe that it's like a family and everybody's supportive around here, it's because it is. And these are like incredible human beings to work with. Like Sean Yancey, I am enamored with Sean Yancey.
I agree.
Like she's like the sweetest, nicest,
Sarah,
brilliant
you
Sarah.
and I have worked in different newsrooms, and we know the energy can be very different. The day I walked in, everyone here received me and embraced me. This place is amazing, and the morning team is just a whole different set of energy.
Yes.
Where they're great too, but you just don't see them because you're not in early enough.
They don't let you drink at 6 a.m. on television.
You're like, I'll never see Allison because she's here at 4 a.m. So yeah, absolutely.
But it's wild because
it's a great team.
If you guys, and again, a credit to everybody who watches the network, keep doing it. But like if you get the vibe, it's because the vibe is real.
Yep.
There's not a single fake person in the building, and I've done a lot.
We have been around. And
you've been stuck in certain places
yes,
because of your contract. But I've done so many different hits for so many different places over the years, and like it's like other places it's like and this is like this warm vibe, and I would say that off camera too, and I did it on a private Facebook post. So.
Know that you talk about your hustle here. Last thing in the hot seat, I usually ask people words of encouragement, advice to people who want to be in the business. What do you leave them with?
God. So I had a talk at Mississippi State University, and it's the same advice that I was given by a comedian who's a very successful comedian years ago, which is never pay attention to what anybody else is doing in their career, ever. Everybody's got their own path. If you pay attention to somebody else, you're just wasting your time. Your path will be your own path, and you'll get there if you're meant to be there or not. Just keep working hard and ignore all the other people in their path.
Tim, I love that. Thank you so much. How can people find you?
Tim runs his mouth on Twitter. And usually I've been getting really good at being the first person to respond to a lot of the president's tweets lately. So it's been.
And it's funny because then everybody's like retagging. And
I get hated on. Also other advice: don't read the comments.
because people can be really nasty. Yes. Yes, indeed.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but I'm not funny and I run my mouth. Those are the two most common comments. You're going to hit me on facts and all that.
I love that. Tim, thanks again, sir.
Thanks for
Appreciate it. This is what we're talking about, people. We keep it live and spontaneous because we never know who may drift in, who may have an opportunity to sit and chat with us. And we want you to know that you can always find us at fox5dc.com. We're always on breaking news, weather. You can also download that Fox 5 weather app because it will give you the latest weather and what you can expect in your area, wherever you are. I used the Fox 5 weather app when I was in Prague. Hello. I think I may be the first Fox 5 personality, talent, employee to use it abroad. Thank you very much. Somebody may have to prove me wrong with that, but I think that Sue Palka, Tucker Barnes, Mike Thomas, Gwen Talbert, Caitlin Roth, I think they all appreciated that. So there you go. So I tried to use it and let them know that it worked just fine while I was bouncing around the Czech Republic. Well, you guys, that is our 30 minutes. I appreciate you spending time with me. I will, of course, be back here tomorrow, God willing, and breaking news not happening. In the event that I'm not here, it's because something is happening that has commanded this space, but you can always stay up to date with what's happening by going to fox5dc.com. I also want you to remember to like and subscribe below. And remember that you can find me on social media at Nick Smith News on Instagram, at Nick Smith News on Twitter. That is my time. You know, I'd like to close you out with a little bit of music because I brought you in with music. I want to take you out with music. So I'm going to do that with my little Shaka Khan. So you and I can have that and we can talk about that. If you've got a song that you love, let me know what it is because I'm cool with that. I want to know what you're listening to. You're like, oh, Nick, this song just takes me back and I remember a groove, keep a groove moving. I just want to know. We're building a relationship here. I hope everyone had a great Easter weekend. I'm going to close you out with Clouds, Rufus, and Shaka Khan. See y'all tomorrow. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll do this then. Have a safe day. Spend it with your family. Call somebody and let them know that you love them. So I'm about to do. Still on the phone, call my mama. See you around. Talk to you later.